graphing. So 17 is a lot like one that's been on your basics quizzes for a while. You're supposed to find f of 3, g of 3, and f minus g of 3. F of 3 would be found by letting x be 3. So 4 3 is minus 5. That's 12 minus 5, which is 7. G of 3 would be found by letting x be 3 in g of x. If you want to use a storage feature on this one, you're more than welcome. That's 9 times 3 is 27. I'm going to add 6, because 2 times 3 is 6. That's 33. Take away 4 is 29. All right, so find f minus g of 3, which is literally f of 3 minus g of 3. That's going to be 7 minus 29, which is a negative 22. 18, we have a graphing the system problem. F of x is less than 2 absolute values of x minus 1 plus 3, and g of x is greater than negative 1/4 x plus 5. This guy has a vertex at 1, 3, the slope equal to 2. So the right one up 3. Looking at my symbolism, open hole. I'm going to rise 2 and run 1. Dashed lines because there was no equality. And it is a less than, so I'm going to be shading everything beneath that V. All right. G of x equals negative 1/4 of x plus 5. Well, there's 5. And then I fall 1, run 4. So fall 1, run 4. There's my dashed line. And I am going to be greater. So this area was getting shaded, and it's getting shaded again. And then this area right here is going to get shaded again. So I wish I wasn't using pen for this, but these two areas right here are my solution space, because they got shaded twice. 19. Solve another absolute value system. All right, so I guess what we'll do is we will 5 both sides. The reason for 5ing both sides is to eliminate the fractions. And that frees up the absolute value of x minus 3 being equal to 10x minus 30. Write two equations. X minus 3 is 10x minus 30, or negative x plus 3 is 10x minus 30. So if I shift my x's left, I'll have a negative 9. I add 3, I'll have negative 27. Divide by negative 9, I have an x value of 3. Over here, if I subtract 10, I have negative 11. Subtract 3, I have negative 33. Well, that's kind of cool. I've done a lot of these. Very rarely do you get the same answer twice. That's got to be pure luck. But it's possible. No reason it couldn't be. Oh, yeah. Just one answer. Quite surprising. Happens twice. 20. Solve. Volume is pi r squared h for r. Hopefully you recognize that as the formula for volume of a cylinder. And we're supposed to solve it for r. So think about your understood symbols that are going on. We have pi times r squared times h. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I divide by pi and I divide by h, and that frees up r squared. The opposite of squaring is going to be square rooting. So I take the square root of the left and the right, and the square root of r squared is going to be r. So there is the formula for the radius if you know the volume and height of a cylinder. Interesting. And 21, your favorite question of all, graph a piecewise function. So we are the absolute value of x plus 1 if x is less than 1. Now, I'm going to start talking about this one. This is a V whose vertex is at -1, 0. I need 3 points to draw a V. All right, so I make my table. I can go ahead and plug this 1 in. I'll just open hole it. If I plug a 1 in, I have the absolute value of 1 plus 1, which is the absolute value of 2, which is 2. I've already got this vertex, -1, 0. I already figured that out. I can be anything less than 1. I've already got something less than 1. I'm going to find the left wing of my V. I'm going to plug in a -2. So the absolute value of -2 plus 1 is the absolute value of -1, which is 1. There's my 3 points that I need for my absolute value piece. All right, so I plugged in a 1 and a 2 got returned. I have to open hole it because I was not allowed to be that 1. I plugged in a -1 and got a 0. Actually, I found that was the vertex. And -2, 1 existed. And the thing could be -3, -4, and so forth for its entire life. This side will continue forever. Here we stop. Piece 1's done. 2x if I lie between 1 and 3 inclusive. That's a line. 2x is a line. And I'm just going to plug in the endpoints, 1 and 3. If I plug a 1 in, I get a 2 back. If I plug a 3 in, I get a 6 back. So the hole gets closed. That closed the hole. If I plug in a 3, I get a 6 back. 3, 4, 5, 6. And it looks something like that. Different slope, a little steeper. And then I am 5 if x is greater than 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get to open hole it. And I get to be everything horizontally to the right. That should be this is not steep enough. This should actually be a little bit higher. Sorry, there's roll wise 5. I kind of missed it a little bit. But that's the gist of it. Should have given you graphing paper. Should have given myself graphing paper. There's the gist of it. I think that's it for this twin.